The old high school had been boarded up for years, its halls swallowed by silence and mildew. But when a K-9 named Scout froze in front of locker 312 and began barking like his life depended on it, Detective Mara Collins knew something was wrong. What they found inside, after the bolt was pried open, made the entire room go still. It was small, almost harmless looking, but it connected to a disappearance that haunted the town since 2009. If stories like these stay with you long after they end, feel free to follow for more. The lock groaned as the bolt cutter snapped it in two. The old steel door creaked open, hinges screaming through years of rust and silence. Mara Collins didn't move. Scout, the department's K-9, a lean Belgian Malinois with grizzled ears and eyes too wise for a dog his age, stayed fixed. His front paws dug into the dusty tiles. His tail stood stiff like a flag caught in a windless storm. His snarl faded to a low whimper. Inside the locker, there wasn't a body, just a faded Polaroid. One image, a girl in a yellow jacket, arms thrown around two others. All three grinning, cheek to cheek, under a rusted football scoreboard. In the bottom corner, scrawled in red marker, Fall Formal 2009. Mara's breath hitched. Jesus, muttered Deputy Fletch, peering over her shoulder. Is that? Mara didn't answer. She stepped back, heart punching hard against her ribs. The picture was warped, water-stained. But she knew the girl on the right. Everyone in Ridgeton did. Lena Merrick, 17 years old, disappeared October 2nd, 2009, along with best friends Cody Marks and Tara Lou. They had boarded a late bus to a school bonfire. None of them made it home. No bus was ever found. No bodies. Only a town that forgot how to smile. Mara took the photo in her gloved hand, careful not to touch the edges. Scout sat quietly now, his tail thudding against the floor once, twice, before going still. I thought they closed this building for asbestos, Fletch muttered. They did, but this, Mara's voice faltered. This wasn't here before. That locker was cleaned back in 11 when they swept it. You sure? I checked it myself. Her jaw tensed. 11 years ago. She was still new to the force. Green. Reckless. She remembered combing the lockers back then, one by one. Locker 312 had been empty. No belongings. No photos. And certainly no blood. Because now she saw it, just behind the photo, inside the metal groove, was a thin smear of dried maroon. Mara turned toward Scout, his head still tilted toward the locker, like he was waiting for more. She swallowed the lump rising in her throat. Get forensics, she told Fletch, her voice low. Bag the photo. Mark the blood. Fletch backed out the hall and into static. His radio crackled. Mara looked around the abandoned corridor. Peeling blue lockers lined the walls. The floor, layered with dust and broken glass, muffled every step. Faint shapes were scrawled into grime. Old graffiti, locker numbers, maybe initials. Overhead, fluorescent lights dangled uselessly like bones. She stood alone now, heart pounding in the same rhythm had the night. They found Lena's phone, smashed on the highway shoulder. Just a cracked screen and a broken charm with Cody's initials. Her gut told her something even darker lived behind this photo. And it wasn't just the blood. Someone had come back, 12 hours earlier. The town of Ridgeton looked like a photograph that had sat too long in the sun. A stretch of forgotten buildings. A gas station with one flickering light. A diner that still served coffee in chipped mugs. And beyond the town limits, thick forest. Endless and unkind. Mara stood at the corner of Route 8, arms crossed, watching the clouds gather low, her boots pressed into the soaked gravel. Behind her, Scout sat calmly by the squad car. Across the way, an old man with a grease-stained cap leaned against the fence of the junkyard. Ray Crum. He chewed tobacco and watched her with the same disapproval he gave tourists. Still chasing that ghost bus? He asked. Mara didn't look at him. Something wrong with a cop following evidence. You're following whispers, not evidence. She finally turned, her eyes sharp. You reported someone breaking into the school, Ray. Middle of the night. That whisper. Ray spat into the grass. I heard dog barking. Kids, maybe. Could have been raccoons for all I know. You said you saw a flashlight. Ray's jaw tightened. He glanced toward the trees, as if deciding whether to lie. I did. I think. In the gym. But I ain't going near that place. You know what happened there. We all know. Ray's face grew quieter. My niece was on that bus. Mara blinked. I didn't know that, she said softly. No one does. She wasn't a student, just visiting. No one ever thought to count her. The silence between them stretched too long. Mara looked toward the school again. The windows were like empty eyes, boards nailed over them. Roof caved on one side, but someone had been in there. And now that locker. Mara turned back. If you remember anything else. I'll forget it first, Ray muttered. That night, Scout wouldn't stop whining. Mara was half asleep on the couch. The case file sprawled across her lap. Old photographs, timestamps, witness statements. All pieces of a puzzle that never fit. The Polaroid from the locker was on top, enlarged now. Lena, Tara, Cody, smiling like the world was still kind. Scout's ears perked, his nose twitching. He moved to the door and barked once. Then again. Mara sat up. What is it, boy? He barked louder, pawing at the wood. Her phone buzzed. A text from unknown. I saw you found it. Stop. She stared at the screen. Her pulse jumped. Scout barked louder now, throwing himself at the door. Mara grabbed her gun. Back at the school. Floodlights lit up the locker hallway. Forensics marked evidence with neon tape. A tech in white gloves scraped the blood with a swab. Mara approached the Polaroid again. Something about Lena's eyes. Not just the smile, but the way she looked just off camera. Like someone else was there. Someone just outside the frame. Detective, one of the techs said, voice tight. You want to see this? She turned. The blood sample. It wasn't 11 years old. It had hemolyzed recently. Not dried, she asked. Not all of it, he replied. How recent? A few days, maybe less. Mara blinked. A chill hit the base of her spine. That meant someone placed a photo this week. She looked at Scout. His hackles were rising again. This wasn't just a reopened case. This was a warning. Mara didn't sleep that night. She sat in the station conference room. The Polaroid lying under a sheet of glass, magnified under the evidence lamp. The three teens, Lena, Cody, Tara, were front and center. But her focus kept drifting to the shadows in the background, past the football scoreboard, near the edge of the field. A tree. Just beside it, a faint fourth figure. Too far to make out, blurred, mostly obscured by the edge of the photo. But someone was there. Mara leaned forward. Scout, curled near the table, watched her. Someone had been standing behind them. She dialed the tech lab. Can you isolate quadrant D for on the locker photo? Just sharpen it. You're talking about the fourth person? The tech replied. Mara froze. You saw it too? There was a pause. We did. And there's more, the tech said. We ran a partial on the blood. Female. No matching Cody's. But age marker suggests someone young. Very young. How young? Maybe 15. 16. Mara sat back. Lena, Cody, and Tara were all 17 when they vanished. But this blood wasn't from 2009. It was from now. A chill spread across her skin. Check that fourth figure, she whispered. See if we can pull anything, face, hair, clothing, already on it. Mara hung up and stared at the board. She had the names. Lena, Tara, Cody. But if there was a fourth teen in that photo, someone who was there the night they disappeared, why had no one ever mentioned her? Unless she was the one who survived and was back. Tuesday morning, 7:15 a.m. Mara parked outside the Richland nursing home. The sky still pale gray, trees heavy with rain. She hadn't visited Donna Marks in years, not since the official case went cold. Cody's mother, once loud and opinionated, now rarely spoke. Inside, a nurse led her down the hall. The walls smelled of lemon cleaner and wilted carnations. Room 218. Donna sat by the window, her legs wrapped in a thin wool blanket. Her hands trembled as she turned the pages of an old album. Mara stepped in quietly. Donna looked up, her eyes glassy but sharp. "You're the one who stopped looking," she said. Mara winced. "I never stopped." Donna closed the album. "I remember you. You had doubts, even back then." Mara nodded. "I should have pushed harder." Donna's eyes flickered. "What changed?" Mara pulled a copy of the Polaroid from her bag, slid it gently onto the table. Donna stared at it. Her fingers hovered over the image, just above Cody's smiling face. "That's the night they vanished," she whispered. "That's his jacket." Mara leaned in. "Do you recognize the girl in the yellow jacket?" Donna nodded. "That's Lena. And her left, Tara?" "Yes." "What about the fourth person?" Donna squinted. Mara pointed. "Back here, near the tree." Donna's mouth parted, then closed again. She looked at Mara, suddenly suspicious. "I thought no one ever saw that photo. We found it last night." Donna's hand trembled. She reached into her blanket pocket and pulled out a tiny slip of newspaper, folded a dozen times over. It was an article from 2008. "Local girl killed in school accident. Freshman Lydia March, age 14, died after a fall from a second-story balcony at Ridgeton High. The school ruled it accidental." Mara stared at the headline. "Who's Lydia March?" Donna didn't look up. She was Cody's girlfriend. Mara froze. She would have been with them the night they vanished. She wanted to go, but she died a year before. Donna's voice dropped to a whisper. "But I never believed she really died." Mara's eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" She was a strange girl, detective, wrote letters to herself, drew symbols on her arms, talked to mirrors. When she fell, it was like something pushed her, but the cameras were off, always off. Mara felt her pulse rise. She was buried? They said she was. Donna said softly, "Closed casket." "I never saw her face." Mara took the photo back. Fourth figure. Thin, long dark hair, standing near a tree that had since been cut down. She flipped the image over. Faint pencil marks. Numbers. 23.13.6. "What is this?" she muttered. "Coordinates." Donna guessed. "No, wait." Mara stood up fast. Scout rose too, instantly alert. Back at the station. The numbers weren't coordinates. They were locker numbers. 23.13.6. 3 numbers. 3 lockers. And Ridgeton High, even abandoned, still had them. Scout paced near the office door, nose twitching. Mara printed the building map. The lockers aligned near the science wing. A part of the building long since condemned after a fire in 2013. She clipped her holster on. Time to go back in. Ridgeton High, 1:43 p.m. The air was worse this time. Heavier, like breathing through old cloth. Mara stepped through the buckled gym door, flashlight trembling slightly in her grip. Scout led the way, sniffing low, ears high, past the old bleachers. Down the hallway with sagging ceiling tiles. To the far corridor, science wing. Most of the lockers were rusted shut, mold blooming up their fronts like black veins. Mara counted down. 23:13:6. Scout stopped suddenly. Growled. A locker, halfway open, hung crooked on its hinges. Inside was something small. Mara leaned in. A locket. She recognized it immediately. It belonged to Tara Lou. Her parents had described it in detail. Heart-shaped, cracked on one side, a tiny photo of her sister inside. Mara reached for it, then froze. There was another photo inside the locker, half-burned, this time just 2 people. Cody and Tara, standing alone. No Lena, no Lydia, no smile. Mara's phone buzzed. Another text. "Stop digging or more will disappear." From unknown. Mara swore under her breath. Scout barked, short, sharp, ears fully up, his body twisted left, toward the next locker. "Scout, stay." But the dog lunged, nose to the base of locker 13. Scratching, growling. Mara stepped forward and slowly pulled it open. The scent hit her first. Rot and old metal. Inside, wrapped in a flannel shirt, was a VHS tape. black casing. No label, just a date scratched into plastic. October 2nd, 2009. The night they vanished. Mara's breath came shallow. She backed away, holding it in gloved hands like it might bite. Then her radio crackled. "Mara, you need to get back. We've got a situation. Someone just broke into the Merritt property. Lena's house. Vacant since her parents moved. Did they take anything?" Mara asked, walking fast now. "No," the voice on the other end said. "They left something." "What?" "A bouquet of yellow wildflowers. And a note." Mara stopped dead. "What did it say?" The voice hesitated. "It said she lied." Mara stood outside the old Merritt property just after dusk. The house sat at the edge of town, long abandoned, its shutters half-ripped, wind moaning through broken eaves. Overgrown grass clawed at her boots. Scout growled low, tail stiff, nose in the air. Deputy Fletch handed her the note, just a torn scrap of paper. For words, shaky handwriting. She lied. She knew. And next to it, a fresh bouquet of yellow wildflowers. Lena's favorite. Not sold in stores. Wild. Local. Still wet with dew. Mara stared at the flowers. They had been picked that morning. Someone was watching them. Still in Ridgeton. She tucked the note into her coat pocket. "We're going to need the tape player," she told Fletch. At the station. They set up the VHS player in the evidence room. The tape was brittle, edges curled. The kind of tape you don't find unless someone wants it found. The screen crackled. Lines rolled down it like falling water. Scout sat beside Mara, tail thudding once as the sound came through. Faint at first. A girl's voice. Muffled. Nervous. "Is it recording?" "Yeah," a boy's voice replied. "Cody." Then the picture snapped into place. The footage was old. Handheld. Shaky. The camera pointed toward a fire pit. October leaves. A clearing behind the high school. Lena, Cody, and Tara all stood near the flames, laughing. Cody turned the camera on himself. Ridgeton seniors. "One last bonfire before we disappear." Then he turned it toward the trees. "Hey, Lydia," he called. The camera panned to a fourth figure, her back to the lens. Long black hair. Pale arms. Mara leaned forward. The girl turned slowly, reluctantly. It was her, Lydia March, dead for a year, supposedly buried. And yet, there she was, alive. Tara's voice. "Lena doesn't like when she talks to the trees." "Cody," she said. They whispered back. Then the tape crackled again. Skipped. Next frame. "Night." Screams. A flash of movement. The camera spun. Tara's voice. "She's not normal, Cody. I told you." "Cody, where's Lena?" "Lydia, what did you do?" Then static. The screen went black. And one last sound played, barely audible. A voice, not Cody's. Not any of the girls. Whispering. "She made me." The tape ended. Mara sat back, her hands trembling slightly. She replayed the last moment. Slowed it down. Freeze frame. Just before the static, Lena's face. Dirt on her cheek. Eyes wild. Terrified. Looking straight into the lens. Mouth forming a single word. "Murder." Mara whispered out loud. Lena knew. Wednesday, 3:34 a.m. Mara couldn't sleep. She sat in her car, outside the wooded lot behind Ridgeton High. The tape played over and over in her mind. Lydia March had been alive after her reported death. Somehow she had been with them that night. And something happened. Something violent. And Lena had survived it. The question was, where did she go? And why had she lied? Scout suddenly sat upright in the back seat, ears pricked. Then she saw it, just beyond the trees. A flicker of light. A figure walking. Long hair. Mara jumped out, flashlight up. "Stop. Ridgeton PD, stop." The figure paused, then ran. Mara gave chase, Scout right at her side. They tore through underbrush, branches slicing her arms, rocks underfoot. The figure vanished behind a collapsed greenhouse. Scout barked furiously at the cellar door near the foundation. Mara approached slowly, gun drawn. The door creaked open. Inside, cobwebs, rot, and the stink of something long hidden. A mattress, old kin food, a pile of books, one open journal. Mara picked it up. Lena's name on the front. She flipped through the pages. And there, halfway through, was the truth. Excerpts from Lena's journal. October 3rd, 2009. Tara said not to bring Lydia, but Cody insisted. She showed up anyway. Said she never died, that she faked it, that the school helped her disappear. She said the forest was sacred, that if we joined her, we'd be free. We didn't believe her, but something was wrong with her eyes, like they didn't blink the same. October 5th. Cody followed her into the trees. I begged him not to, but he said she needed help. Only Tara and I came back to the field. Then Tara screamed. Said Lydia whispered something to her. Said Cody was gone. That Lydia was gone. We ran. We never saw her again. Tara wanted to tell. I said no, because Lydia wasn't dead, and I was afraid she still isn't. Mara closed the journal. Scout growled again. Then the trapdoor creaked. Someone was above. A woman's voice. You shouldn't have come here. Mara stood slowly, gun raised. Lena? The figure stepped down into the moonlight. Older now, hair chopped short, face thin, eyes hollow. It was her, Lena Merrick, alive. She looked at Mara with tears building. She said if I told the truth, she'd come for me. Lydia? Lena nodded. I thought she was dead, but she was never dead. She was changed, and now she wants me to finish what she started. Mara's voice cracked. Where are the others? Lena's face broke. Gone. All of them. Tara, she tried to tell. I think she was the first. And Cody, I saw what she did to him. Scout barked, his body pushing between them. You don't understand, Lena whispered. I only survived because I obeyed. Then she pulled something from her jacket. A match. You can't stop her. No. Mara lunged, but it was too late. Lena dropped the match onto the floor. The dry mattress caught instantly. Flames licked the walls. Scout barked furiously, hurting Mara back. Lena stood in the middle of the cellar as smoke rose around her. I lied to protect everyone, but it wasn't enough. Then the fire consumed her. 1 week later, the ruins of the greenhouse smoldered quietly. Investigators found the journal and the tape, but no body. Lena had vanished. Again, Mara stood beside Scout, looking at the scorched grass. 3 teens missing. 1 returned, then gone again. Lydia March's grave was exhumed. It was empty. What was inside locker 312 had linked the past and now, but it had not ended it. Somewhere in the trees beyond Ridgeton, something still moved. Something Scout never stopped watching for. And every so often, when the wind pushed just right, a faint voice could be heard near the edge of the school fence. She made me, and that was the part Mara never wrote down. The part she still dreams about. The high school was finally demolished. Mara watched from a hillside with Scout by her side. Nothing came out of the rubble. No bones. No answers. But the feeling never left. That they hadn't buried the past, only loosened its chains. Scout still growled at old photographs. Still barked near locker 312. Even though it was gone, Mara never spoke of Lena again, or the figure in the trees. But every fall, when the wind turned cold and wildflowers bloomed where they shouldn't, she'd find a photo on her porch. 3 teens, smiling, and always a 4th just out of frame,